You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Welcome back to I Am Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today, and man, we have a new, amazing show lineup for y'all. We have a special guest this morning. We have Nia Sioux. She is the original cast member of Dance Moms and the author of a new book, Bottom of the Pyramid. First and foremost, I want to say to you, Nia, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I appreciate your time being with us this morning. Tell us a little bit about your book and what can people expect in it?
Yeah, well, my book, Bottom of the Pyramid, is a memoir about my life on this show that was called Dance Moms, a reality show called Dance Moms. I started the show when I was 9 years old, and I was on it till I was 15. I was the only original cast member that stayed throughout all the seasons. And the reason my book is titled Bottom of the Pyramid was because of my label that was given to me on this show. I was viewed as the weak link and the bottom of my dance teacher's pyramid, which was her ranking system that she had for her dancers. Each week, I found myself at the bottom of it almost every single week. So it's about my journey, feeling like I'm at the bottom and being at the bottom of that pyramid, and how I overcame it and how I move through life and still find joy, and also how I define success for myself. So it's a memoir, but it's also a story of resilience, perseverance, and it's a story of encouragement that I hope that people can take with them and help them in their own lives.
And speaking of encouragement, you had to deal with pressure and being the only one kind of labeled, if you will. What were you able to do to overcome being criticized and being placed in a box, if you will?
Well, I think that's something that helped me throughout this the whole journey was the support I had from my loved ones, from my family, specifically my mom. I think the reason why I was able to push through so much is because I had a strong support system, and I also knew who I was. So although things did get to my head sometimes, and sometimes I did feel defeated and hurt, at the end of the day, I would get back up, remember who I was, and keep going, because I wasn't a quitter. I'm a fighter. So I always kept that with me, It's like it's okay to feel those things too, because that's part of being human. If someone hurts you and is trying to hurt you and says something mean, and if people are critiquing you that's not constructive, you're allowed to feel a certain way. But what's important is that you don't stay there, and that you continue to learn, and you continue to grow, and you continue to be resilient and stay strong.
Once again, listen on Refocus Radio, watching us on, not watching us online, hearing us on radio and talking to our guest, Nia Sioux, original cast member of Dance Moms and author of the new book, Bottom of the Pyramid. Will you understand what it's like to be hidden, if you will, in group dances? You describe in the book going months without solo. That's not just not cool, but you kept it cool under pressure. How did you understand at that younger age to keep you poised?
Well, I have a great role model, my mom. She always kept it together, no matter how bad things got. She always, she knew how to handle things, So being raised by her definitely helped. But also for me, I always try to look at the bright side of things. I always try to see the situation and make the most out of it. So for me, whenever there were instances where I'd go months without giving a solo or an opportunity to shine, and I was just in the back corner the whole time being hidden, I would work on the things I could control. Like, I would take extra classes and I would work on my technique. I could get extra schoolwork done. I had extra time to work on the group dances and to become a better dancer. And, you know, like, I always found ways where I continued to grow, even if I wasn't given those opportunities. And imagine if I had been given those opportunities, I probably would have grown so much more. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of what I was able to do with what I was given. And it wasn't much. So I'm really proud of how far I came from being hidden, you know, for so long. And I think also, just to tie it back to the book a little bit, and the reason why I even wrote it was because I felt like I was still hiding, you know. I didn't talk about my experience on the show and the feeling of being hidden or feeling outcasted or feeling racism sometimes, you know. I was scared that me saying something would ruffle feathers, or people weren't going to like me anymore, or, you know, I'm not a drama person, but I finally found the words and the voice and the courage to finally speak up and talk about my experience and my story, because it matters. And when I saw the opportunity, when I realized I was ready to finally not care about what anyone thinks, not care whose feathers get ruffled, you know, like, it's my life, and I deserve to share my story. And just because someone doesn't like it because they don't like how, you know, they're perceived or how I write, then I say they just had to do better, you know, and they had opportunities to make it better. So for me, being hidden was a huge part of, like, my journey, but I'm ready not to hide anymore, and to, you know, be out there, and for people to truly know who I am. And this book is a way of doing that.
And one quick fire question for you is, before we sign off, is being able to share your story on your own terms now. What does protecting your peace look like for you today?
I would say taking time to myself. Yeah, taking time for myself is kind of how I protect my peace, and knowing when to log off, because there's always going to be people who are going to say things that don't know my full story and don't really care to, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, like, that's also none of my business sometimes as well. So taking time for myself and knowing when to cancel out the noise and to log off.
Once again, talking to Nia Sioux this morning, original cast member of Dance Moms and the author of the new book. You can get right now, bottom of the pyramid. Like always, I want to say to you, Nia, thank you for your time.
Thank you.